All right, so on the theme of mobile, this is also a mobile-only test, and the goal of this test is increasing mobile newsletter subscriptions. So the client here is a fashion e-commerce brand, and the goal was to increase mobile newsletter signups by giving users multiple opportunities to sign up for the newsletter. So we have found that there had been a lot of desktop newsletter signups, but that was lacking in mobile. Ultimately, this company also wanted to increase revenue. So the hope was that the email signups would later translate into down funnel metrics. So this is the control. On the left-hand side is the homepage when you first go to the site on a mobile device. And then if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, that's where the email sign up comes in. So then in the variation, this is what it would look like. So when you first log in on the left-hand side, there would be a little modal that pops up at the bottom, and there's a little remind me later under the email submission bar. So if users didn't want to put in their email just yet and wanted to peruse the site first, they would press remind me later, and the newsletter sign up would appear again after the first add to bag. And then what users would see after they press the remind me later button. Cool. So any questions so far?
Are we looking also to see how this impacts signups, but also how it might impact checkouts as well?
Yes. So this was tracking newsletter signups, so unique email submissions, as well as add to bags. So when users, so also tracking down funnel. So add to bag, order completion pages, and revenue.
Elaine, just curious, where did the idea come from for this remind me later sort of option? Like what inspired this?
So I think the idea was that if users weren't ready to submit an email yet, they wanted to look through the page, but they weren't necessarily committed to wanting the 20% off. So the remind me later was an option for them to add their email later and not feel pressured to do it right when they log into the homepage. So to give them time to look through the website to make the decision of whether they wanted the 20% off for their purchase intent once they add to bag.
Elaine, is this something that we've tested across multiple clients' sites?
That is a great question. I'm actually not sure off of the top of my head.
Okay, I'm just asking because it's a great feature. I wish I saw it more.
Definitely.
Elaine, do you know if this was done for users who are not logged in versus logged in, or does anybody get this experience when they land on the page?
Anybody gets the experience when they land on the page.
Okay, that's interesting.
And then it would have, if somebody had already signed up, when they type in their email into the email bar, they would get a different pop-up at the bottom. So instead of saying you will receive a reminder, it'll say that they're already signed up and would encourage them to log in.
Okay.
Elaine, just curious, does this client often do these sort of promotions? Like, is this an evergreen feature for this client, or was this a more timely testing need?
The 20% off for email is an evergreen feature.
What happens if you click the X? Does that make the pop-up go away completely, or does that have the same functionality as the remind me later?
It does make the modal go away completely.
Okay. And I know that like the sign up really, somebody just is creating an account, right? They're not just signing up for.
So for this, they are just signing up for the
They're
newsletter.
just signing up for the newsletter. Okay. And that is the primary metric. The others we're just looking at to see if it impacts down funnel. Correct. Okay.
Yes.
Huh. Interesting. I don't know what to think. I think that this might be a little disruptive. I think we might be seeing signups, but it might be like negatively impacting checkouts. So I'm conflicted on this one.
So for this one, we can do signups. So I have both of them in terms of the results,
Okay.
but you can vote on whether you think this helped with signups or not.
Okay.
And then we can vote again for order completion, just to throw
Interesting.
take things up since you brought it up.
All right. Are we ready to vote? Shall we do the signups first? All right, let's do it. Oh, James, things went down. All right, do we want to do checkouts next?
Lots of mixed reviews. All right.
Yeah.
So yes, Z was absolutely right. There's a huge lift in email submissions, but in terms of order completions, and also that's the same percentage drop with add to bag. So what we found with the remind me later feature is that it seemed to remove urgency and demotivate purchase intent during the current session. So one thing that we noticed is that the remind me later feature didn't come with copy to say when they would be reminded later. So we think that users thought that the remind me later would be in a later session or potentially later during their visit in the site and not necessarily during the first add to bag moment. So we found that this did distract users from having purchase intent.
Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe to have more test ideas sent directly to your inbox.